At Arlington's Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, a Russian general's arrogance sparks a tense showdown with Sentinel Jake Carter. One bold move threatens sacred ground. Will discipline prevail? Dive into the Silent Sentinel for a gripping tale of honor. Before we continue the story, let us know where you are watching from. If you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to the channel because tomorrow we have another special story for you. A thin veil of mist hung over Arlington National Cemetery, softening the edges of the white headstones that stretched across the Virginia hills. It was a crisp autumn morning, and the air carried a solemn weight as diplomats, military officers, and dignitaries gathered for an international memorial ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The distant notes of a trumpet, mournful and clear, echoed through the grounds, signaling the start of the event. The ceremony honored not just American fallen, but all soldiers lost in conflicts worldwide. A gesture of unity in a fractured world. Corporal Jacob Carter, known as Jake to those close to him, stood at his post as a tomb guard of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard. At 28, Jake was a study in discipline, his black uniform pressed to razor-sharp perfection, his white-gloved hands gripping his M14 rifle with unwavering precision. His service cap framed a face set in the Sentinel's 1,000-yard stare, eyes fixed on the horizon, unmoved by the mist that clung to his polished boots. Each movement of his guard change was a sacred ritual. 21 steps, a pause of 21 seconds, a crisp turn, and repeat. The rhythm was more than duty. It was a heartbeat, a tribute to the unknowns who rested beneath the marble slab before him. Jake had earned his place as a tomb guard after 3 tours in Afghanistan where the chaos of war. A faint line across his left forearm marked a shrapnel wound from Kandahar, but the deeper wounds were memories of friends who never made it home. Private First Class Ryan Miller, his best friend, was the sharpest loss. A 22-year-old from Ohio, killed by an IED outside Cable in 2018. Ryan's laugh, his knack for terrible puns, haunted Jake's quiet moments. Here at the tomb, Jake felt Ryan's presence, as if the unknowns carried the spirits of every soldier who gave everything. Today, with foreign delegations arriving, Jake's duty felt heavier. A silent vow to honor those who could no longer. The ceremony began with a low murmur of voices, dignitaries in dark coats and polished shoes mingling near the memorial amphitheater. Jake's eyes remained forward, but his ears caught fragments of conversation, French, German, and a distinct Russian accent. The Russian delegation, led by General Ivan Vulov, had arrived with a small entourage. Vulov, a towering figure in his mid-50s, cut an imposing silhouette in his crisp uniform, medals from campaigns in Syria and Ukraine glinting on his chest. His broad shoulders and sharp jawline exuded authority, but his gray eyes held a glint of arrogance, scanning the plaza like a hawk assessing unfamiliar terrain. A faint scar above his left eyebrow hinted at battles fought and survived, though his demeanor suggested he thrived on dominance more than duty. "This is theatrical nonsense," Volkov muttered in Russian to his aide, Captain Alexei Petrov, a lean young officer with a nervous glance. "In Moskva, we honor our heroes with real soldiers, not actors in a parade." His voice was low but carried, and a few nearby guests shifted uncomfortably, sensing the edge in his tone. Jake heard the words through the fog of his focus, but didn't flinch. His training as a sentinel demanded absolute composure, no matter the provocation. He counted his steps, 1, 2, 3, 21. Pause. Turn. The tomb stood resolute, its marble surface catching the muted light, a symbol of sacrifice that transcended borders. Volkov's disdain stung, but Jake's discipline was ironclad, forged in the heat of combat, and tempered by the weight of this post. As the ceremony progressed, delegations took their places for the wreath-laying. A British colonel stepped forward, his movements precise as he placed a wreath of red poppies, bowing his head in silent respect. A French admiral followed her wreath, adorned with that white lilies. When the Russian delegation's turn came, Vulov strode to the tomb with deliberate swagger, his boots clicking sharply on the stone plaza. He placed a wreath of evergreen and red ribbons, but instead of stepping back, he lingered, pulling out his phone and snapping a photo of the tomb, his lens flashing dangerously close to the restricted area marked by a low chain barrier. "Excuse me, sir," Major Sarah Nuan said, approaching swiftly. A U.S. Army liaison officer, Sarah was 35 with sharp features and a calm authority that belied her petite frame. Her dark hair was pulled into a tight bun, and her uniform bore the insignia of a combat veteran. Photography is not